Welcome, my name is Kat and I'm going to show you how to make some recycled bottle sculptures today. All you need are plastic bottles. They need to be clear and they can be in any size, so you can collect from your recycling bin. Just make sure they're nice and clean, and then we need to do a little bit of prep for that. So your adult might want to help you with this part. You can only do this part if you're able to use a sharp knife. So your adult needs to repair you some bottles for you to paint. So all we do is remove the caps. We can use them maybe another time, and have a cutting mat or a piece of card in front of you, and then you're gonna peel off any labels. They usually come off really easily like this, and then your adult needs to take a knife, sharp knife, and obviously being safe as you can, you're going to cut a small hole into the bottle, and then I do a few at a time, and then take some scissors, and depending on your age you can help with this part. You're going to cut off the base. So we're going to talk about the parts of the bottle here with our participants. So we've removed the base and we've removed the lid, and it's quite useful to know that this is comparable to our heads and shoulders. We've got the neck here and we've got the shoulder, and the base has been removed. Okay, we're going to definitely use the bases. As you can probably just about see, they are really lovely to paint on and decorate. Okay, so that's the first part of our lesson so far. Hi, I'm back. Just going to run through the materials and equipment you're going to need for creating your bottle sculpture, because you might want to get those together. To start with, you've got some acrylic paint. So I've chosen like a cool colour scheme here, but you can use maybe reds, pinks, oranges. Try to stick to a colour group, which is the most successful way of doing it. You obviously need those in pots or little palettes, and you're going to need brushes obviously, and scissors, pretty sharp scissors, or anything with a decent point will work. You might need some cotton buds, and you might need some permanent markers, so Sharpies are fine. Water obviously for washing brushes. And if I think of anything else, I'll let you know. Okay, so you've got your bottle, and what's lovely is all the bottles are different, and we can have a look at those because there's lots of language we can get from this. This is a nice smooth bottle, and the bases have got these lovely radial patterns, so like the sun or a pizza, or something cut into segments like an orange. We've got these lovely designs that are all different, so it's really good to explore different vocabulary we can get from looking at those. And then looking at the bottle itself, some of them have sort of thicker lines, thinner lines, and emptier spaces, and they're all different, which is great. So try and collect a variety of bottles because it's great for the next stage, which is painting. So we're going to use, as I said, acrylic paint. And we need obviously a sort of medium-ish brush. Nothing, you can go thicker than this, but you don't need to go much thinner. And I'm going to start by just painting around the neck. So I'm going to just do it. So the paint needs to be relatively thick, so you don't need any water in the paint, but there may be a bit of water on your brush. And what you're going to do is explore painting in different sections. So that's my first little section, and you're painting on the outside of the brush, of the bottle, sorry. And you need to hold your brush like a pencil to get control. The paint does not come off your clothes, so make sure you're protected with an apron or wearing an old shirt. It will come off your hands, so don't worry about that. And I'm just going to carry on with my blue. This is a nice deep blue, which I've got ready. Then I'm going to stop, and I'm just about coming down to, from the neck of the bottle to the shoulder. So you can stop around the shoulder, but again, you could do stripes this way. It's up to you. And then I'm going to put that brush back in there, and I'm going to take another brush in the next colour, or I could just wash the brush in between. I'm just doing this for speed. And now I'm going to use a little bit of a paler blue, a very pale blue, so it's white mixed with a little bit of blue, and I'm just going to do a really strong, so I'm sliding and guiding my brush, and I'm holding the bottle here so that I can rotate. Some people like to hold their hand inside and paint like this, so really just find a way that's comfortable for you, and you're going to carry on. And then for my next colour, I'm going to use this sort of really nice pearly colour here, which is a sort of greeny, whitey colour with a bit of, actually a little bit of silver in. So, you know, use the colours that you like, but I wouldn't use maybe more than about 3 or 4 colours, because then you get a really good effect. And now, because my bottle here has stripes, I'm going to start doing some stripes. So really experiment with it. And the last thing to sort of show you is, or the couple of last things to show you, is it's really good to use a bit of magic painting. So watch what I do with my brush. I hold my brush like a pencil, and I'm going to go down like that. And what that does is it picks out the different lines on my bottle, but in a different way. So I'm actually creating some gaps here. Can you see this? So I'm going up and down. You see I'm sliding and gliding my brush. You could do any patterns you like. So think about with your adult, some of the patterns that you see around, like spots, stripes, circles, etc. I'm going to show you a few more on another bottle in a minute. So just to speed things up a bit, I'm going to go like this one more time. See, I'm turning it round, keeping it gently resting against my mat. And then here I could go back to using my white, and maybe, just put that down a second, maybe one of these little cotton buds, which are really useful. Obviously, if you've got cotton buds for art activities, keep them for art activities. Don't swap them into cleaning your ears with them. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to add some dots. Can you see those? Some nice dots. There we are. And you can carry on like that. Okay, so that's another nice way of adding pattern. So think about all the patterns you know before you start. Zigzags, dots, stripes, wavy lines. Wavy lines are good. And be creative. So I've got a bottle here that's sort of done. I'm just going to show you another way. This space has not been cut off, so I'm just going to remind everybody how your adult is going to just put a little snippet in there of a cut, and then the bottle needs to then be, use scissors to cut the space of the bottle. There we go. And then put that to the side. I'm just going to show you some really exciting circles. So again, this time let's use some of the minty greeny colour, just to show you a different way. Some people like to maybe come down like this. This is a very smooth bottle, so I have a different way of painting on this. I'm just thinking about sliding that brush down, and then I'm going to do some small but definite circles. I don't know if you can see those okay. So one way, then the other. Look at my hand, look at my brush, holding it like a pencil so I get nice control. One way, then the other, like that. And can you see, I'm just sort of starting to make them slightly bigger. We really like painting circles onto plastic. It's just such a nice thing to do. Here we go. And now I'm going to change my colour to this lovely deep, I think it's, yeah, ultramarine blue, and I might quite like to do some smaller circles inside just to see how they look. Yeah, they look pretty good. Obviously at this stage, if you're not happy with anything, you can wipe it off with some kitchen roll, but I think it's just good to keep going. And don't worry about being precise, just enjoy painting on the bottles. Okay, so basically fill in the whole of your bottle with your patterns, and you can spend as long as you like on this. You could do some really simple ones, or you can do ones that are a bit more intricate, like this sort of thing. It's totally up to you, okay? I could spend hours doing this because it's just really relaxing, but you're learning about your patterns and your colours. So when you're finished, leave them to dry. It's quite warm today. You could leave them outside maybe, as long as they don't blow away. And then I'll show you the next stage. Good luck, see you later. Hi there. Hi, welcome back to our bottle sculpture workshop. And really excited that we are now ready to decorate and cut. So I'm briefly going to show you decoration. All you need to do is to use a permanent marker, Sharpie is fine, to highlight areas. Okay, so what you're doing is you're looking for areas where you've left your bottle clear. So here, for example, there's a little area which I haven't highlighted. I'm just going to draw with my pen to highlight that area and then fill it in with a wiggly pattern. Okay, I think it's a really good idea to actually use the same pattern maybe in one area. So maybe the top of your bottle you might fill in with a zigzag and some spots, then you might fill in with another area with some circles, another area with some stripes. And as you can see, there's lots of different ideas in one there, but you don't have to use all of those. You can find your own. The one thing to remember is you're not colouring in, so you're not going to colour that area in, you're just going to highlight. Highlight means draw attention to it rather than colouring it in. You can do the same on the actual painted areas as well. So for example, you can see here I've used quite a nice linking circular pattern. I'm just going to continue that round so you can see. Right, this is an optional stage. If you are happy to just paint, then that is absolutely fine. And the other thing to point out is you don't need to make everything neat and tidy. Obviously it looks good if you're careful, but don't worry if you slip and make a little wobbly line somewhere. It really doesn't matter. Okay, there's no mistakes in this project particularly at this stage. Okay, so that's that. And now we're going to go on to cutting. I'm just going to pause for a second. I'll be back in a tick. Hi, so we're back. We're on to cutting. Final stage of this project. The larger bottles look really good cut into spirals. The smaller bottles look really good or easier to cut into sort of flower shapes. Okay, this isn't finished. I'm just going to show you how to get to here. So this bottle here, I'm going to do, it's not particularly small, but it's small enough to make into a flower shape. So what we're going to do, and there are so many different ways of doing this, is we're going to take our bottle and some scissors. Now I'm obviously using scissors that are quite large. You can just use smaller sharp scissors to cut. Obviously be aware of your health and safety. You want to keep your fingers away from where you're cutting, but you do have to hold the bottle quite firmly as well. Let's just move him for a second. Okay, so remember we said about the shoulder of the bottle. That's where we're cutting to. We're not going to cut to the neck. We're going to cut to the shoulder. If we cut to the neck, it doesn't hold its form as well. So I'm going to go straight down all the way to the neck there with one cut, and then it's about an estimated, I guess, an inch, 2 centimeters, about that wide. Yeah, so you can go thinner, but for your first ever bottle sculpture, you want to make sure that you go no thinner than that. You can go thinner later. Okay, so then we're going to cut. So when we're cutting, opening, closing, and taking our time to go to the shoulder. Okay, so we're cutting to here. All right, and then you just keep going. You turn and cut away from yourself. Now, obviously, as you get good at this, you can cut diagonally, and you can cut, as I said, into thinner strips. So these are strips of plastic here that we are cutting, and you will have all your beautiful patterns, or you'll just have your painted areas, which is both going to look good. Just bear in mind that this little sections here do come a little bit sharper, so just be careful as you're cutting. Your adult might want to start you off just to give you some support with this, but you will find it fine. Okay, so we're going to there. Then the next stage is to change this into something quite beautiful. So what we do is we pinch it down. We turn and pinch it down. We turn and pinch it down, and we keep going all the way around like this. So what's happening is, as you can see, if I hold it like that, you're getting this beautiful stained glass effect, okay? Now you can keep it as simple as that, or you can go for more detail. So what you can do now is, maybe if you want, you could cut again through each of those cut those strips in half as well, okay? So that's another option. Obviously you go all the way around. I'm now going to show you the sort of curving back method. So depending on the quality of the plastic, if it's really thin plastic, then like this one here, this little water bottle, very thin plastic, this bends back, sort of, you can hear it popping back. All those little ridges will pop back, yeah? So just keep pinching and bending them back. This one is a bit more quality plastic, so we need to pinch it in a different way. But you can see already, just by pinching that, you're changing the shape. So you can start off gently, and then if you want it to be even more curved, then you can do some pinching. So you might decide to pinch all of the ends like this, okay? You might decide to do that. At this point, you need to decide whether you want to keep the edges, the very ends of the bottle straight, or whether you want to add some shapes. So here you might be able to see, hopefully there, I've cut those into pencil shapes. So I'm going to do the same on the ends of a couple of these. So in a way, it's probably a good idea to do this part first before you're bending back, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to cut, there you can see there, a pencil shape. You could do a curved shape like the end of a petal if you wanted, or you could do them all like at a diagonal angle like that. It's up to you. Do them all the same, or maybe repeat diagonal pencil shape, diagonal pencil shape. It's totally up to you. The other thing you can do is maybe come down a little bit more and cut more off the ends if you want. But remember, these are the final pieces of your sculpture, okay? So this gives you a really good idea of the creativity, all the different ways you can bend it back. You can pinch, you can curve, you can snip, all right? And then to make your spiral, all you're going to do is you're going to cut away from yourself at an angle. Now this is a little bit trickier, so these are really good for most people can make one of these. These are a little bit harder, so you may again need some help to start you off, okay? So you hold your bottle in your weaker hand and your scissors in your stronger hand, and you need to have your scissors at an angle about 11 o'clock. So I'm looking at 11 o'clock here. This is the 11 number on my clock. From you, it's probably 1 o'clock, but it's like this, okay? And I want to put my fingers in here, and what I'm doing is I'm just turning and turning, and I'm cutting. And what's happening, remember that magic distance we had earlier for these flower sculptures? We're doing the same for the spiral. We don't want to keep it too thin, and we don't want to keep it too thick. If we go too thick, then we don't have a spiral, okay? If we go too thin, we may end up losing our spiral. So I'm going to keep turning and pushing and turning. So if you're in about like year 3, 4 or above, you can do this. If you're a bit in a younger age range to that, then maybe you'll need some help. But you've done everything else to create this bottle, so perhaps an older member of your family can help you at the last stage, which we are going to cut again to the shoulder. We are not going to carry up here. Remember, this was a smooth bottle, so it doesn't have a really defined shoulder. So just check and think, that's about right now, okay? And stop. And then you have your beautiful spiral, okay? So at the end of this art activity, you created spirals and you created beautiful sort of sea creatures. You can maybe add some eyes to here, but I like them as they are. I like them as beautiful sculptures. And what you can do is you can thread them up with some wire, and you can create some really beautiful hanging sculptures, or just put them somewhere in your room for everyone to see. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. It's been really lovely working with you today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.